Well, then we were wrong the whole time. I thought we were, okay.
Probably because their brains are screwed up.
All right,
Thanks for the
so,
warning.
oh wait, Drew, I can't do anything. I'm not chairman.
Welcome to the organizational meeting of the EDC, Economic Development Commission. Roll call, we have 3 of our 4 members here. We have Africa, Johnson, Fuller. Discovery session, we are going to reschedule to next month because Ian Ginger was having some technical difficulties on his side to make
So
it.
do you need a motion for us to amend the agenda, or are you
Oh,
good?
after we get through, we'll make that.
Oh, okay.
Just as so the first order of business is election of chairman, and I will open the floor to nominations.
I nominate Karen.
I second.
That was awful quick, people.
Do you accept the nomination?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I accept.
I will
Gleefully.
close nominations. All in favor of Karen Bigby being chair again?
Aye.
Okay, I have to vote yes, aye.
Okay. So we have a new chairman, and I will turn the rest of the meeting over to Madam Chairman
All right.
to move forward.
All right, so I think we do, but I want to make an amendment because if we're going to accept the agenda, I want to make sure that we all accept the agenda as it is. So we are going to move the discovery session from tonight into next month, and so I want to make a motion. I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda by removing that, and so, okay, so you, second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, so we accept the amended agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so now I will entertain a motion for someone to serve as a co-chair for the EDC.
Melissa. I
Right, so
nominate
all
Melissa.
right, I second. Do you accept?
Yes, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We have discussion on secretary. Drew and I have just been chatting. I don't think our charter requires a secretary. And since Mr. Bullard normally takes, I know Dan holds that position, but he doesn't really do the notes and stuff. We usually have Robert do that. I would like to propose to the board this year that we skinny down and not have an official secretary, just have the chair and the co-chair, vice chair.
I move that we fly without a secretary until such time as we discover that's not a good idea.
Okay.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Now, we still have our minutes recorded, we still have all our motions recorded, because
Excellent.
Robert's been doing all that. And he posts it and he shares it with me and
Okay,
asks if
so
there's any
he'll-
amendments. So the function of the note-taking, the recording, posting everything online doesn't change.
Right.
We just eliminate what I consider to be a ceremonial position.
Get that?
All right.
Doesn't it come with a sword or?
It's one of those little swords you get in the drink. I should have brought that one. All right, next we have the approval of our bylaws. We have not made any amendments to our bylaws, have we? So I'm not aware that we need to change anything, right? There's no approval needed, it's bylaws still
They're
stand.
pretty short.
Okay. So Robert sent out a list of the meeting dates for proposed.
Do we do a motion to approve them as is, or?
Oh.
I'll move that we accept the bylaws as currently stated.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good, done. The 2025 meeting dates, we are proposing to continue the same schedule that we have now, which is the second, third, thank you, the third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. So I'm gonna take the motion, get the second, and then the discussion. So I would entertain a motion to accept the proposal to continue the meetings on the same date and time as we currently have in the schedule.
The only change I would ever make is to move it ahead 1 hour, but I'm good with 6 o'clock if everybody's still. I don't want to like create dust.
Okay, so you got to accept the motion, then we get the second, then we have the discussion.
Did I miss that?
Yeah.
I guess we had a motion. Okay.
So you're gonna first, you're gonna second?
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Discussion.
The only thing that I would do is move it an hour earlier But if that's not good for anybody, because I know we got people that work and stuff like that.
I can't
It's
make
just
5
a
o'clock.
person, okay, so,
And, yeah,
so that's,
I
I'm
wouldn't
just
be able
saying
to
that's
make
the
5
only
o'clock.
thing that I would do, so we can have a vote.
Okay, so all in favor of retaining the meeting date and time as in the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Remote participation policy. This is a new one because the Board of Supervisors adopted a remote participation policy. Robert sent that policy out to us, so we as a subset, if you will, of the board can also adopt the policy should we so choose. So are we?
We would still need to conduct business, we would still need a physical quorum, and we would be able to admit members in remotely if they had contacted Dr. Baker's chair ahead of time, explaining the
And
situation.
that's not as confusing as so many people in other board meetings have felt.
So the question is, before I guess no, I have to, do we want this? We still have to have, so just for awareness too, Lynn has resigned her position on the board. There's some family, so she's resigned, so we're at 4 people. We would still need to have 3 people in the room in order to allow for remote participation. So, because the person that's online doesn't count as quorum.
Correct.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to,
I move that we accept it as written.
okay,
I second.
second, all right. Is there any discussion on this policy for this group?
No, I don't have a question because you pretty much just
Okay.
answered it when you said that we had to have 3
Okay.
here in order to have a quorum because that person online. Let's
They're
say if
not
I
in yet.
wasn't showed up tonight, then we wouldn't have a quorum.
Right,
Right, so.
Right.
I understand.
all right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Oh, agenda review, we already did that. Okay. All right. Blowing through this. All right, review the meeting notes. Did anyone have any changes they would like to make to the November meeting notes?
No,
All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting notes as written.
Your turn.
I approve the,
Okay, Melissa approves the meeting notes for November
For November.
2024.
yes, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the next item is the discovery sessions. Robert had sent around a list of proposed discovery sessions. We don't really need a motion and adoption on this one. I want to just have a discussion. One of the reasons that we wanted to generate a list was so that we had kind of a flow for each month, recognizing that things may change. Like, for example, it's tonight's speaker, we bumped into next month for a couple reasons in coordination with that person. There may be times when we might have to move it around. So I would like the commission to look at that and use it as the Pirates Code, their guidelines, right?
That's what the way it reads. so,
Right,
yeah.
so if there's other discovery sessions you think we should have, if you think we're being too aggressive, or if you'd like some changes, we can clearly do that, but that's kind of the framework we're looking at for this year. So what are your thoughts on?
Just a couple of questions. So like, how far in advance do the invitees, how far in advance do we start talking to them about bringing them in?
It depends. Sometimes it's a couple days, sometimes it's 2 weeks.
Okay, so, there may come opportunities to say, hey, we might want to have this guy. He's not already on the schedule for,
Right, that's what I mean. That's why it's just kind of guidelines.
and so if that's where we are, I'm perfectly good with everything.
Yeah, we want to be flexible because we might have situations that come up. And we also want to make sure that we have time to digest what's given to us, because if we're too aggressive with it. So what happens is, for you guys to know, Robert and Drew and I meet the first Monday pretty much of each month. We have kind of a leadership discussion. And we go through the planning for that month, and maybe even the next month, we try to plan, month out. So at that meeting, we talk about any actions that we have, anything that we need the board to vote on, to consider. So it's kind of just like a little organizational meeting. And a lot of times we look at the schedule, and if we think that we're trying to do too much, or we're just being too aggressive, we may hold off on a speaker for that meeting. So if you do have speakers that you think would be useful, or if there's a certain topic that's coming up on which we need to gather information, I mean, we really still need to look at the financing. So if there's things that we need to adjust, then that's why I don't really want to have a motion on this and have it formal, because then it gets to be too formal.
When it's how we just do stuff that's woven into the fabric of how we do stuff, no. It's
Okay, so we're good, okay.
Can I ask one
Yeah,
question, comment, just looking at the schedule, and I think it's good that you have VCU Health and Bon Secures here together, since they're kind of complementary in what they offer. To that line, would we be better to have Boys and Girls Club and YMCA at the same time, since they kind of have some overlap a little bit in there to where but how they serve the community?
so that one I don't know, because the YMCA has the focus that they've been on the pool, and we had talked about that as an economic development generator.
Okay.
So I'd like to hold those two separate. Now, when we have the Boys and Girls Club, we could invite the Y, but I'd still like to have a separate session with the Y, because once they get that construction underway, and once that pool, they have that available. I've been talking to some people over at the Y over in Kilmarnock. I split my time between the two, and those swim meets are super popular, right? And so if we're going to be looking at hosting the swim meets here, I would want to coordinate with, like, I want to talk to the Y about this, because people come and spend the night, they eat, like, it's kind of like the golf tournament. So that's part of why I'd like to have the Y separately, to see what their capacity might be, what are they planning for those things. So we can think about, do we need, I mean, what else might we want to do to, when we learn about their plans in terms of the housing, et cetera. So when it gets to the programming for kids, then absolutely. I don't know how to handle that, Drew. So I think, yeah.
I'm glad we had this discussion in open forum, just not trying to put you on the spot, but just so to make people more aware of what they have going on with the pool, as well as how they interact with the community as a whole.
Right, and that's why we might want to split it, where
Yeah,
we
no,
have one Y discovery session, which is about the pool, lodging, like what are they, I went to an event where it was like a fundraiser for the capital campaign before they hit it, and it was interesting, and even the video that they have that's available online talks about, the training for fire crews, the training for the Omega folks. Remember when we went out to the Omega? They were talking about how the pool would be helpful. So that swim meet thing, I mean, they run those meets from like 9 in the morning till 4 or 5 in the afternoon, because they don't have any place like else to run them. And so I think that might be an opportunity to generate some additional income. Like, can we coordinate that with the food truck people? Like,
Food trucks were on my mind for that big.
Right?
It's how much.
Yeah, because you got all those people there, there's nothing there. Right? So anyway, that's why I want to have the Y separately for that part of it. Yep. Thank you for bringing that up, though.
What day is that one scheduled for? My son goes swam, and I know the meat structures really well.
I think we have them.
Tentatively in March.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what the preliminary schedule is looking like.
And then we still have to kind of think through some of the sessions that we had last time, last year, what we're going to do. And when we get down to old business, I'm going to bring up the Indian River thing too. Okay. Commissioner's Corner. Anybody have anything new?
just thoughts.
Going on in District 5 in terms of new businesses or changes?
No. None that I could think of. But I don't go walking the streets every day in the cold.
Nothing too much has changed in my area. You're okay.
Has somebody notified Richard Haney that Lynn's stepping out? This is the
She
first.
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to go back and find emails. She sent an email in, I think it was in December, to Robert and Richard and I, to say that due to some personal reasons, she needed to step back. She's very willing to help with projects.
Yeah.
But the regular commitment, right at this time, just wasn't gonna work.
Well, for Commissioner's Corner, Dan sent me
Okay,
several texts for District 1. Ovier's Seafood is still moving forward with the deli sub shop. They're still having issues with workforce for the interior build out. Nino's Pizza in Callio is has intentions of starting to have a limited presence 2 or 3 days a week that they will actually be open to the restaurant being to where you
Wow,
dine
that's a
in.
change. Okay.
Which is the first time will have been open since COVID. But he's hoping to get a good feedback from the community, good support from the community. Callio Jubilee is moving from where they currently are back to where they were. Just
okay.
kind of diagonally across the street, just up 202, behind the David Fines building. The brewing company is looking to do a Firebrook Oven Pizza shop attached to it. That was originally targeted for January. They're pushing that back to February. Callio Hometown Association Park, the consultant engineers that they hired, divided their services into phases. At this time, they have completed phase 1 and 50% of phase A and 50% of phase B. Recently had a meeting with them for the purpose of making decisions, and very happy with the progress and busy working on fundraising on that. And that was everything he had for Callio.
All right. All right. Robert's not here, but if he were, actually, I don't know what he would say.
He just did the permit report.
Okay,
for the
yeah, the
board
permit,
that-
okay.
With the information that was been in the board meeting, but it's there for your review.
And we submitted the budget, he submitted the budget, so we actually went down from our request from last year. So the county was looking to save some money, so we shaved off a little bit more. We requested, with the money that we do have, we requested, we're gonna try to fund 2 interns, if we can. So we're gonna juggle, one of them, we're looking at college, and one of them we're looking at high school type level, so we're looking at that. Again, we don't know if the budget will be cut more than our request or not, so we did submit our budget, I think on time or maybe a week late. I think because
I'm
maybe
not 100% sure that there's a lot of gravity in that district.
anyway, so it's in, and it met the requirements for the request for the county, so. County administrator.
Just the latest we have, from all points, they have completed construction for both phases of the VATI grant. They are finalizing paperwork on that and getting that submitted back to state feds. They are looking to be involved in the BEAD round to expand out farther. And in the meantime, they are opening different areas up that may or may not be BEAD eligible, but if somebody wants to sign up ahead of time and go on and get in, they're trying to open areas as they can, as they are available to get into, to where they can hopefully get more people connected onto their broadband.
Okay. That's one of the things we want to talk about with the health people, is if we can do any kind of remote health stuff. Okay.
So that was pretty much it at this point.
All right, current projects. All right, so where we're at, so next week, on the 29th, we do have our session with the Virginia Talent and Opportunity Project. Antoinette Jenkins, Dr. Jenkins is coming here. She does have people signed up. I don't know, I'm trading emails with her right now. I don't exactly know how many. I sent an email to the chamber asking them to push it out to their members. So I'm going to follow up with them and see if they did. Robert connected with the Economic Development Director in Lancaster, or he was going to last week. And he was also going to ask them to push it out to their chamber. And we did announce it at the last Board of Supervisors meeting. So hopefully, I don't know if it's in the newspaper. I have to talk to Robert to see if it got in the paper. It's next week. I'm not sure.
It was on the website for a few days.
Yep. I also am going to post, print off the flyer and put it at my post office. So I'm planning again on I'm going to get a Food Lion catering, and we're going to do the coffee like we did, at the job fair. So whoever comes to that will be qualified for the matching grant for the internship programs, or workplace learning. So that's going to be a good base for us to work with in terms of trying to get people there. And also maybe we can connect some of those folks with there was some folks that came to our job fair, or our career expo, that had like a database of people that were looking for work in the county in certain areas. And so maybe we can connect some of those players.
I just want to clarify what you said. Anybody that goes to that event next week will be qualified. That doesn't automatically mean they get a grant. That means they will have qualified, have taken care of the
They met the
prerequisites,
training
the training
requirements.
requirement to
Right.
be eligible to
That's
apply
correct.
for the grant. I just want to make sure that that's clarified.
So we've opened it up, like, obviously we tried to spread the word as much as we can in Northumberland County, but also in Munster, because she's coming down here. So it's gonna be held right over there in the tavern meeting room. I'll be in there early to set up. The official event's supposed to be from 12 to 4. The actual program is from 1 to 3. But I'm gonna set up food and coffee because if businesses wanna come, maybe they can network beforehand and maybe they can network afterwards. So that will be next Wednesday. I am meeting with the manager of the tavern this Friday, because when I talked to reserve the space over in the meeting the room, she had some thoughts about some things that they'd like to do with the Economic Development Commission at the space there. So I know we had talked about our career expo / job fair. We're gonna have 2 of them in the spring. So I want to talk with her about what she thinks, how to best highlight some of the county. We've got the Northern Neck 250. There's a lot we can do with that space. We've got the gentleman that, was doing the woodworking. So we've got a base of activities. It's just kind of bringing them all together in terms of how we want to highlight the county's heritage, opportunities for, working here, opportunities for moving here. So I want to talk with her and see what her thoughts are about, doing that, when to do it. Should we do it when the farmers markets start? And then work with the gentleman from the woodworking group, because if he's got the lead on bringing buses down here, then we can kind of coordinate that and have like a big major kind of event. So that's what I'm going to talk with her about on Friday.
This guy just got a permit to have a furniture.
Yeah, he's over right now on the way to Warsaw.
Right.
He does furniture repair
Mm-hmm.
and sewing machine repair and clock repair.
He might, well, I know that he's actually looking for a relatively small operation, so I don't know if he's gonna, or sees himself looking for help when he opens up here across the street from Signet's, but,
Anybody's welcome.
we might wanna.
You can, right? If you say we, it's you. Volunteer.
I'll-
So,
Change my dialect accordingly.
right, and again, there's gonna be 2 events, so we're gonna have the one at the school where we're gonna have like jobs, right, a job fair for the summer. So at this point, I'm coordinating. If somebody else wants to take it on, you're welcome to. So, and I'm gonna ask Lynn if she can help out with some of these things, if she's got the bandwidth. So we've got the job fair for the summer kids, right, which we have to figure out how to, I guess, market that. And then this other event, which is kind of like highlighting Northumberland County, and we had talked about that. So I have not yet put together the prospectus for that, but I'm working on it. So we've got that. The Indian Creek Yacht Club, I need to connect with them again because they're having that golf tournament, and we had talked about getting them a list of resources where people could stay, eat, and play, if you will. So we do have our stay, eat, play map that's on our website, but we had talked about putting a little brochure together, which you graciously gave us the one that you put together for
It
your
will need camera.
rental.
I was looking at
Right,
it.
so I need to find out from them like where because they were gonna send that out with their materials. If our QR code that we created for our advertising campaign, if we can use that, then we don't necessarily need to create something new because we can use that and it links to our site, so it's already established. I just don't know exactly how to get that into whatever material and letter they're sending out. So we want to make sure that when they send out their invitation and they start doing all their publicity for the yacht club, the golf tournament, excuse me, they can have, if we had our QR code on there about find out more about Northumberland County, where to stay, that'd be great. So I need to follow up with them to find out exactly when that is going to happen. I know they said it would be sometime in February, but I want to find out exactly when. So that takes care of our event next week, the expo in the spring, the job fair in the spring. What else? What else am I missing for current projects?
And do you need me to come at noon next Wednesday?
I might just, so, because I'm gonna try to get in there early to set, I don't know how she wants stuff set up, so I have to find out like the tables. But I think I'm just gonna put the tables in a square, but, if you're available, if you can come at noon, because then also, if I'm doing that and businesses walk in, you can kind of help them
Okay.
out. So I'll make sure I've got the food line stuff there and then the coffee. Jeanette, or Antoinette said she'll be there sometime between 12 and 1, so she may be coming a little bit, later too, okay. What projects am I missing?
Career Expo, job fair.
I think
That's
that's
it?
That's pretty much, I do have on my list to contact our Commissioner of the Revenue. He gave us that list last year of all the businesses. And so we were gonna get another list from him this year to see what changed. It's very interesting because that list and the one that the Bay Consortium Group has, again, there's not as much overlap as you'd think there were, but it's because it's the property versus the employers. So I'm not sure how much the property list benefits us when we're looking at employers, but it's still good to keep up with. So now that we're in the new calendar year, I'll get that list and follow up with that. I also have Jay from the Bay Consortium Group. Is it Jay? It's Jay, right? His name's Jay?
Not Jay,
Okay.
Caleb, sorry. He's having these sessions now. I think it's the fourth Tuesday of every month. Some of them are gonna be virtual, some are gonna be in person. There's one that I'm gonna sign up for, I think in February, where it tries to connect people that are working in economic development commissions, people that are working in business, like just connect people. So I'm gonna go to the one, I can't remember, it's on my calendar, but it's at 8:30. I'm gonna go virtually to that one to see, otherwise, because I'm not gonna be in town, so I'm gonna go to that to see what it is and kind of report back to you guys. I don't exactly know, but it's never hurts us to connect with other people to find out like what other areas are doing. So I'll let you know what I find out from that. And that's all on my list. So if there's other current projects, anything going on with the Habitat people, they haven't been in touch with me for a while. So
No, right.
Okay.
I've been in there a couple of times at the store.
Okay.
You know, in Kilmarnock, but nothing.
How Jeff? We're working on this.
Yes, we all met and went out there and I took a lot of pictures of it because, I mean, it's my church as well, but I hadn't been in that little schoolhouse, you know, in years, and it was just so nice, you know, to go in there and take the pictures. And so they're moving forward, and I did see an email that Robert had sent a few weeks ago to them, to Al Jr., regarding the signage that they wanted out there. But it was just really nice seeing what they did, you know, and the work that they've done to this place is really nice.
that's gonna be a great addition to the
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah, because if I was to sit in one of those little seats that they had in that little classroom, I'd probably be stuck like Nutty Professor, you know, because they're so tiny. But it's I'll be good and stuck. But it's just to see it. It's just great.
Oh, that's cool.
It is. It was nice to see that.
Do we have, you know, I need to look at our Eat Place Day to see that if all the historical markers in the county are on there. Because that's another idea for our trail, because there's historical markers everywhere.
Yeah.
But what happens is you end up going past them. So I told my husband, when I retire, I'm gonna write a book, like that'll ever happen, where I was gonna go around, I was gonna take pictures of all the historical markers, put the geo coordinates on it, and then people could see what like bed and breakfast was around there, what place to eat, because there's a lot of historical markers, but you're driving down the road at 55 miles an hour and you pass it and you're like, ooh,
There
what was
already
that?
is a book, and there's no parking by them, is the other issue. Many of them, they're just not
Yeah.
reachable unless you,
Right.
There is already a book.
yeah.
It's a Virginia book or a county book?
It's the Northern Neck book, as I recall.
Because I've got like a Northern Neck tourist guide. All right, so I will look, because if that's not on our site, we want to definitely link to that, because that's going to be another thing when people come.
And like you said, because the markers are usually on the side of the highway, you don't see it's difficult, you know, for parking.
there's no, and then you blow right by it, you can't see it. I got some
I mean,
years
like the one
ago.
as you're coming back up into the hill before you get to the Y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you slow down and you're like, I still can't see it, right?
Can't see
So,
it.
What we do is we put them in lights and then below that have a sign for having your car repaired after it's been.
yeah, that's what it is. When you get rear-ended, call this guy. All right, I'm gonna check and see if we can link to that, because if there's a book on it, then it must be on the site somewhere too.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, we're on to new business.
I don't even.
I got nothing.
I got enough going on, I don't want to.
Yeah, it's a lot
I'm
going
gonna
on.
ask a question, two questions, same
Uh-huh.
question. When we had Arbor Tourism money, we, did some promotion ads on the sailboat for, the Strawberry Festival and for the Blessing of the Fleet. Do we want to reach back out to the church and Omega on anything that we can do as a commission or that the chamber needs to be involved in to see how we can help promote those activities again this year?
I like the idea of partnering, so I'll leave Omega to you,
Okay.
since they're your district. It would be great to understand from Omega what else we can do, like Blessing the Fleet, but anything else, right? So what would we be able to do to, I guess, help in other areas? I mean, we went out to visit them, they didn't really have anything, we talked about the workforce stuff. St. Stephen's with the Strawberry Festival, so I think part of what, when we had the ARPA money, we were gonna be doing the advertising anyway. And in this case, we don't have anything listed for advertising. We were gonna look at our budget to see if we could pull together a little bit of money to continue to do the, like the gas station ones, at least for the kayak brochure and stuff. And I don't think we've done that analysis yet, so I'll ask Robert.
Is it anything we can link on the QR code, just to make bring awareness?
So I don't know.
I'm just
yeah.
throwing out ideas for new
We
business.
can talk to
not answers
Robert and
today.
see, because if they're already doing like the Strawberry Festival, can we just get the QR code added onto that? So I think one of the things, even with Lisa Hull, to talk to her to see when they're doing advertising for stuff, can we get the our QR code planted on there? That I think would be, I'm hoping something that would help the businesses, because it's got places to stay. It's got everything there. It's not like you're promoting the EDC. It's here. This is already a resource you can use for people to stay, people to, you know, if you want to eat here, if you want to stay here, and if you want to do other things here, there's this resource. That is a really good conversation, I think, for each of us to have within our districts with some of the businesses that are sponsoring events. And if we don't, like absent Lynn, then I'll see if Robert can do it or I can do it to find out, yeah, for the Strawberry Festival.
With some of those things, like even with the Strawberry Festival, can we have a table or booth present?
I don't see why not. I don't see
I
why
think
not.
that's a great idea,
Yeah,
you know, just getting our name out there, you know, and,
I mean,
True story, that.
I'm
yeah.
just looking at like the farmers markets here,
Yeah.
the EMS has a booth,
A booth.
table, whatever.
well, that gets us back to I was too ambitious when I first got on this group a year ago. I wanted to create a, I don't know, PR package for the county,
Mhm.
right? And absent, the QR code is what we have, but that doesn't work when you're sitting at a table. So I think if you and I could think through what we would want to do at that table. So for example, a computer that plays the ad, because I think we own that ad, right? That'd be good. So the kayak brochures, the chamber's site where people can advertise for jobs, right? So that would be speaking to businesses. If people are visiting in the county and they want to think about maybe doing business in the county, we don't have anything to hand them.
Well, what happened, when we, at the tavern, we had our 40-year class reunion last year.
Wow.
In October. And what one of the classmates did, because she's over at the Kilmarnock Lettering, and she did the signage for us, and we could just pull it up. You can take it with you whenever, you know, wherever you go. But we could actually just have it, you know, displayed. You know, just as, let's say if I'm with Truist and I have, you know, a mortgage banner or something, and I could pull it up and have it displayed with the maps on there, the
Right,
information.
we could do that, but
Yeah.
if you're a
But if
business,
it's not in that budget, you know.
well, no, I wanna look and see, because we don't know what, I mean, this is some of the
Because
things we
this is
wanna
something
carve
that we
out.
can
And
constantly
it can be
use.
reused.
Exactly, when we're going to different events and having a table there, we can have the trail, you know.
That's for tourists, right? But for businesses, there is
Yes.
nothing. If somebody were to approach me and say, oh my gosh, you live in Northumberland County, you're on the EDC, what's the benefit of me doing business in your county? I got nothing to give them. I don't have here's the population, here's why you should come to Northumberland County to do business. We've got
Well, that would be
broadband,
a
we've
good
got
one to
this.
answer.
Right, so
Right.
having that up would be, you
But
know,
then we need something to give them too.
right, well,
But they're coming
well,
with an
yeah, because
answer
we could,
first.
can we print it out
Yes.
with what we already have on the website?
Take a look at what's on site.
Okay. And you might
Right,
say-
it doesn't answer, so it still doesn't answer the question, why would you come here to start a business?
Mhm.
Now, for people who live here, right, they want to start one because X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
But I don't know, so this is something I'd like to talk, like you and I can maybe put our
Yeah.
heads together, because, I
Okay.
mean, I can go over to Lancaster County and steal some of their stuff, like, it's basically creating something like that,
Right.
right? And on the
Mhm.
folder, right, it'd be, if you're coming here to play, here's a whole bunch of stuff. If you're
Right.
coming here to eat, here's a whole bunch of stuff. If you're coming here to do business, here's some stuff, right?
Right.
You just take it everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, and we need to carve out money for that.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
I mean, because then when I go to a mall, I'm gonna go to that kiosk to see, okay, what
Yep.
stores are here?
And we could have that at, we could each take a Saturday to be at the farmer's market. We could each take, yeah, I like the idea. Thank you for, yeah. Thank you.
Because some of the people that attend, everybody, we take it for granted, even in the workforce, that everyone is tech savvy, and they can go on the
They're not.
computer
No,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
not. So, having a display of
I
some
like-
things and
yeah.
answer some questions would help.
I agree. And some people are just visual. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's under new business. We'll talk about, have a new project, to get a presence that covers people that want to come visit, people that want to come play, people that want to do business. So we've
Right.
got the first two covered,
Mhm.
but we don't have the third one, and then we needed something to bring it together. Okay.
It would be good to leave heavy on the answer to the question of why would anybody want to come. So,
Would you like to take a stab at starting that?
I guess I'm as good as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to start. I mean, I know we have what's on our webpage. We can look at, we're just gonna crib off of somebody else's and
So,
figure it out. And of course, give it to the county administrator to approve.
something only tangentially related. Today, there was a partnership that was started between OpenAI, Oracle, and a couple few other contributors.
Yeah, but that's way up there.
It's gonna come, and if you
Yeah,
sit
yeah,
on
but-
the sideline, you won't know about it. And the point is that the technology that they're putting together, not from a computing perspective, but from how it's going to get its power, is
Yes.
vital.
And I am still not convinced the county has the capacity to play in that power when I just heard it this morning that even up in Fairfax,
Modular nuclear.
even up in Fairfax County and I think Montgomery County, the data centers are operating at 50% because Dominion doesn't have the energy grid to give them the power they need.
Modular nuclear.
Well, I don't see nuclear, when you're depending on aquifers, nuclear's got a long ways to go, but yeah.
Well, the ones that I've seen, the cooling systems actually serve as desalination plants. So the point is that if we don't explore it, we're gonna sit on the sidelines and we're gonna miss opportunities again.
I don't know what you mean by explore it, and if you'd like to lead that, I'm happy to have you do that.
I'm happy to
It's-
dig
It's
into
well
that.
beyond me.
Karen, the research note I wrote for Gardner a few years ago
Yep.
gets into economic development factors. I'll get you a copy of that, because you go around the wheel and say, okay, where are our strengths, where are our weaknesses?
Right.
It's all laid out.
That's the one you sent me.
Yeah.
Okay.
One other point, and you might know more about this than I do, but when you made me remember when you mentioned Omega. The one area that they did express weakness in is machinists. And where you get a young machinist is usually out of high school.
Mhm.
The question is does our high school actually have appropriate machine shop type education and training?
My
My guess
understanding,
is no.
but my understanding, what they said is they get them and they train them. They were willing to do all the training. They just needed somebody to learn that wanted to do that work.
It's a little bit more involved than that. You gotta have at least some high school shop.
Aptitude.
yeah, an aptitude for it, and people that'll come out of that shop would have the aptitude for it, or they would never sign up for the classes in the first place.
Okay,
So there's glue between a corporate employer and the workforce at the high school is, or the local education system at whatever level is cranking out. I'm a little bit worried that, you know, like at the workforce activity that we had at the school a few months ago, there was one kid that was just on fire. If I had a place to hire and I put him to work, I'd hired him. He was the only one that I remember.
okay, so, again, if you want to follow up on that, I don't know what the Northern Tech Center has, I don't know what partnership we have, I'm not very familiar with that, but that sounds like a really viable thing for us to help Omega with, if.
Well, see, I was thinking Omega as well, because the gentleman that had been there for
Right, the
so
guy that been there,
many
yeah,
years.
we went into shopping.
Exactly,
Yep.
I mean, that was,
So,
That's the
and
apprentice
that's another
program.
point.
exactly,
Because
Yeah,
when you
connect
get a guy
those.
that's been there
Yeah.
since Christ was a corporal,
yes.
and you bring in somebody new, the most knowledge transfer you're gonna get before the old guy leaves, 30%.
Do they know about the program we're having next week? Because they can get the cost defrayed for starting a workplace learning program.
Very well then. We'll see if I can check them out and make sure that they know.
Yeah, because that would be, I don't, I'm gonna ask her who signed up, because I really don't know. I know we've got, two people, I think, had signed up, but I don't know who else has signed up. But if that'd be great to follow up with what the HR lady, because then, if this can help, you know, defray the 50%, cover 50% of the costs of them starting an intern program, that'd be great. Thank you, great ideas, okay. And I do want to make, at some point, I need to make a visit to the Northern Tech Center just to see, to get smarter. It's just never seems to have time. Okay, we don't have any citizens here, so we don't have any engagement there. Anything on your, no. Mr. Cost, anything that you wanna, that we're missing from the, I know you go to the planning commission meetings too. Is there anything that we're missing or that you think we need to be looking at?
We'll just continue to fight our way through the comprehensive plan. We've been given more responsibility to review zoning modifications and conditional use permits, and we've been very open to approving just about everything. Well, no, we have approved everything so far, so we're being very flexible. But
The one thing that we had on our project list from last year that I don't remember if it was Stuart was working it or somebody else was the digital map of the zoning, so we could include that for people who wanted to come to here and do business. And when we had last checked with the county, we were told to be patient just for a couple more months because they were close to finishing it. Do you know if it was a digital map of all the zoning? Do you know if it's done? Either of
It
you?
ain't done.
It ain't done.
I think it fell through, right?
Stuart showed us some of the maps, and they look done to me, but at what layer, I don't know, so.
Yeah, I haven't followed up with him recently on that. I know he was doing some of the GIS mapping, but
That was what we were trying to get because
I'm
we
not
wanted
sure
to.
how deep the
Okay,
layers are.
can you shake that tree a little bit? Because what we'd really like to do is be able to show that. So people know where the zoning is, so they know where they can plant businesses, without always having to come in for conditional use. At this point, I think you have to go into the office to see it, or you see little tiny pictures. So they're gonna create a digital version of it. And I think this was last September, it was just wait a couple more months and we'll be done. Okay. Because that'd be something to put in our
Just
package.
based on the ones that we have approved, we just approved 2 conditional use permits in areas that are zoned agriculture that it's never been farmed. So God knows how out of date some of the zoning stuff is, particularly along Northumberland Highway where things are zoned A1 and they should be. So we're gonna have to get on top of making some changes there.
And again, if somebody's looking to start a business out here and they see something, a map like that, they may come in for it. But absent having that, it'd be something we'd like to promote as part of the work that we're doing. Okay.
And one more question, that shopping trail,
Mhm.
do we give that to people or can we use?
We
that
have it on
for-
the site.
We have it on the site, okay. shopping
And
trail.
I don't know for the brochures that we have, if that one's updated, which is why the QR code was so great, because it basically, we could then control the website
Mhm.
and update it all the time without having to rely on the hard copy brochure. So,
But we could have them if we was to attend the farmer's market or
right.
the strawberry festival.
And I think it'd be great for us to have some of the content on the website, right?
Right.
Not just, so we've got the business lane where we need to have it, but to have a brochure that has the stuff on the website with the QR code. So for people who aren't necessarily interested in the technical stuff, at least we can hand them a brochure. They can maybe go to the web. We can't replicate everything, but we can at least have a brochure to hand out that then drives them to the site. So
Okay.
I'll look with Robert at the budget to see where we can come up. And then you and I can kind of make a list of the stuff that we think we need and figure out how much that might cost. Okay. And then you're gonna check, I'm gonna check to see who we already have on the list for next week. You're gonna do something with power and Omega for the machine shop.
And the
Yeah, see
training-
Northumberland
training and the
Technical Center.
development, yeah.
And then also see if they're coming, if they wanna come next week. Cause yeah, that'd be great if we could defray some of their costs for, cause I need to follow up with Tiffany Yachts, cause they have people that they hire. Okay. Ooh, good meeting, guys. Anything else before we move to adjourn?
I'm just looking in here, Maurice, so I can find you that HR person at Omega,
Yeah.
because I took a picture of a card.
I
got
got there.
Perfect, okay.
Perfect. All right, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 6:47.
I second. Or I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, you second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Yay. Right.